Hello, how's it going? Today we're going to be building a virtual machine that's designed and customized specifically for capture the flag challenges and other learning sandboxes and environments for anyone interested in getting involved in cybersecurity and just playing around, having fun and learning. I'll be doing a complete walkthrough from start to finish of the build and customization of a Kali Linux box. The customization, I'll be using a Ansible script that I created, which allows me to really quickly rebuild machines from scratch. And the customization and configuration is really focused on making it totally ready for tackling CTF challenges of all different varieties. So jumping right into it. We are on the Kali Linux website and we can see there's a lot of options for downloading the image. I'm just going to use a pre-built virtual machine image. I use VMware Pro just because of its stability and the fact that it interoperates really well between VMware Fusion on my Mac and VMware Desktop. A lot of people start off with VirtualBox because there's a freeware license that actually has a pretty good suite of capabilities. So if you're using VirtualBox, you want to get this one. As I'm using VMware, I'm going to download this image. So once it's downloaded, I'll open it up in the folder. I'm going to need to extract it. Okay, now it's extracted. We can see there's a whole suite of VMware DK and VMX files. So what I can do is just click and drag this VMX file across to my VMware workstation, and it has the virtual machine already built. The first thing I want to do is edit the machine settings. It defaults to 2 GB of memory. I find that's not enough and often get crashes running things like Firefox. I find around 8 gig is a pretty good number and pretty stable. It provides 4 processors. I generally give it 8. And you can choose how much storage you want to provide it. 80 gig is fine to get started with. So with that set, we can boot up the machine for the first time. Now the virtual machine ships with some default credentials, which are Kali and password of Kali. And the first thing I want to do is to give myself an account on the machine. Okay, so I'm going to open up a terminal, make this a little bigger if I can. Okay, and I'm going to privilege escalate to root. I can just use my Kali password, and then I'm going to reset the root password to something I want it to be. In this instance, I'm just going to make it password, but you should make it something much more secure. And once that's updated, I'll do a quick reboot. And now I'm going to log on with those root credentials, root and password, and again open up a terminal. So the next thing I want to do is to delete the Kali user. So I'll use userdel recursive Kali, and I'm going to add user, and you can add your username. Setting a new password. Again, I'll just use password. Whoops. Alright, and now we want to add this new user to all of the relevant groups, and I've got these stored off screen, but I'll share these instructions with you in a link below. And so now we have the new user. With that done, we'll do another reboot so that we can log in as our new user. JCPR and put in password. And we are logged in. So if I look at my present working directory, we're in home JCPR, so I've got a new user directory and a new user. I should still be able to sudo with my credentials, and I can. So at this point we need to update our package manager and system. So I'll do a sudo apt update. Alright, now that's done, we can see we've got 500 packages which can be upgraded, so I'm going to do a full upgrade. So I'll do sudo apt full upgrade. Yes, and let that run. This is going to take a little while, and once it's finished we'll do a quick reboot and we're ready to start customizing our Kali Linux machine. Alright, so I've finished with the updates and I've restarted the machine, and so now I can start with the customization of my Kali box. I've done some automation scripts using Ansible, and you can find it on GitHub here. And so I'm going to be, it's got all the instructions, etc. I'm going to be using this to run automatically through and setting up the machine the way that I like it. I'll run through quickly what the main features are. So if we look at the installing tools, we've got a whole bunch of gem tools, GitHub repos, kurbroot, ngrok, proxy service, Obsidian, which is my note-taking tool, a whole bunch of Python tools, SyncThing, which is an open source app that I use to synchronize my important files between my MacBook virtual machine and my desktop and my virtual machine, and a couple of custom scripts and Volatility, which is a memory investigation tool. Jumping across to system configurations, I've set a custom wallpaper, and I've set a no password rule for sudo, so I don't need to type my password every time. And those are the main system config tasks. I've also put a custom configuration of tmux. So there's a tmux.conf, and that just has a couple of quality of life changes, including stuff to help with copy paste, which I always found challenging in tmux. I've also customized the browser, so there's a couple of plugins that are automatically installed, and we also automatically import the Burp Suite proxy certificate, so you don't get those certificate errors when you're first running. And finally, some terminal customizations. And I've also changed to GNOME Terminal and made some basic UI changes for my preferences, including changing the transparency. And that's pretty much all there is. Just a note that there are other options here, and there are lots of people on GitHub with their own Ansible scripts that might be better suited to your preferences. But given this is mine, I want to use my automation scripts to get it set up the way that I like, and so I'm just going to do a git clone on my repo, which makes a copy on my local machine. The first thing I would need to do is install Ansible core. There we go. And now we have Ansible. I can install the requirements. Ansible Galaxy requirements.yaml. Oh, correction. I missed the install. We'll give ourselves the root privileges before we run Ansible playbook. And we just call our main.yaml. In my notes, you'll see I've also added a note about extra variables, and you can pass your ngrok auth token if you have one. So this is the syntax that you'd use to do that, but I won't bother for the purposes of this demonstration. And we will run through so you can see all of the activities that are happening as they take place. And I'll fast forward through this and pick up when we've finished. Okay, so now that's finished, we'll do a quick reboot and have a look at how things work. The first time I need to make sure I select the GNOME terminal, which is the one that I've customized. So if I go into my opt directory, we can see we've got Bloodhound, Chainsaw, Chisel, Obsidian, Ps, which are Lin Ps and Win Ps, the privilege escalation automated scripts. So we've got sec lists, sharp collection, Sigma. With Obsidian also, we can just type Obsidian into the command line and it will automatically background the process in such a way that even if we close our terminal, Obsidian keeps running. So that's just a small custom script, so that looks good. If I open up Firefox, I can see the plugins that I installed. I can pin them to the toolbar. Dark Reader makes things a bit nicer, Foxy Proxy, and then I'd go in and configure Foxy Proxy as well, and just add a burp suite repeater on 127.0.0.1, and that's going to be on port 8080. And I'll also add up a SOX proxy on 127.0.0.1, and that's going to be 1080. And that's pretty much it. So this will be a machine that's well suited for any capture the flag tasks. I'll be keeping this repository up to date so that if there's any new GitHub repositories that I find useful or tools that I use regularly, not just one-offs, I'll include it in the automated build. That's about it. Anyway, I hope that this makes it a bit easier for anyone who hasn't gotten into cybersecurity yet and who wants a safe sandbox and playground to maybe join Try Hack Me or Hack the Box and start experimenting with capture the flag challenges, doing red team or blue team operations, and getting in amongst it to learn about cybersecurity. Thanks very much for watching, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.